What up? We are back with another episode of Track Stories. This time we are up with the track Undefeated. So, as many of you know, we released the new EP from Ashes earlier this year, and that was comprised of 3 tracks from this album that we felt really deserved to have a better performance, better production, better consideration put towards them. But I'll talk about all the behind the story stuff of the rewrites at a later time when we finally get to that EP. But with the original, this one was one of the few that I did have some ideas kind of already floating around, and I already had a little bit of a creative burst that popped through when we were poking at this track, and it was one of the ones that was way early on in the writing stages. I had already told you how Hide and Seek was kind of an early on one. This one, along with a couple other tracks, were early on writing ones to where we didn't know exactly where the album was going to go, but we were kind of hoping and wanting to steer and gear it towards being a very heavy album comparison to previous material. And so by doing that, I was very heavily in the idea of wanting to do a lot more tremolo picking, and the outro, something that we had not done like the way that I had always envisioned it being, was I had always envisioned us having some track that had a huge just dropout halftime outro that really kind of got a pit moving and everything, and this is that track that I thought could do it. Ultimately, we ended up pulling it off, as you know, and everything. The version that you hear on this album, though, we never quite got it there, and that's kind of what I was talking about as far as some of the performance on this album. As much as we tried, we just couldn't get it over the finish line with the actual performance being at a certain BPM and then just half-timing the outro with it. And that was a big motivation with why we opted to have this one kind of go onto the slot for the rewrites. But this one, I had a lot of passion towards, because I was already struggling to have creative manifestation come out through this album and everything. And so when this one popped up and I was actually feeling inspired and creative, I kind of created an extra tight bond to this one because of that. So due to it not living up to what I had hoped it would be, I always had this yearning to, at one point in my life, be it with the band or somehow, some way, shape, or form, redo this song. So I'm really glad we got to do it as a band. But I always felt like this one had its place in the Controller catalog and just needed its opportunity to get reattempted. So this one, as the trem picking, I found in later on that it just wasn't the thing that it really should have been. In the scope of what it was for this album, it was completely correct. It was the right idea for the Watch It Burn catalog, but in hindsight, going forward, it definitely needed a different perspective put towards it. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this one. We'll catch you in the next one.